Hi guys, welcome to Fox 5 Live. It's Friday, July 7th. We're back.
How you guys doing? Yeah, end of the work week, the abbreviated work week after the 4th of July celebrations earlier, but looking forward to the weekend.
Yes,
sure.
we are, and we're happy to be here, guys, with you on this Friday for some breaking news, live events that are happening everywhere across the world. We have a lot of stuff going on abroad in Germany with the G20 summit, some protests going on, and all sorts of other stuff. But first, I'm going to grab this while it's live over in California. If you guys have been watching, a crazy 4-alarm fire broke out in Oakland, California. Right now, they're speaking on a live update from our sister station over in Oakland. Let's check that out.
Based upon rapidly expanding conditions and flame presentation.
All right, thank you. We will be back.
Also Waverly, right? That's the name of the building? Yeah. I'm sorry. So time like later this morning, early afternoon?
I anticipate later this morning. I mean, I'm not going anywhere. Margaret's not going anywhere. Later this morning. Yeah. All right.
Hey, I'm Kylie Russell. City News.
Sean Lawrence.
Oh, cool. Just wanted to introduce myself.
All right, guys, looks like that's all we got. We just caught the tail end of that press conference, the 4-alarm fire that they were efforting all morning. Lots of crazy good video of that on our Facebook page. We had that earlier today, and you can read more about that as the crews fought this massive fire at a construction site in Oakland, California. But hey, I'm looking at some viewers here. Hey, Killam TV, what's up? Good morning. Let me know where you're watching from. Curious to see where everybody is today on this Friday. We're in D.C. We're in Washington, D.C., Fox 5 Live, in the Fox 5 DC newsroom, digital newsroom. And Cam, what else is going on today? We got Nats played last night.
Yeah, Nats played and lost. They played, and I'm sure approximately 10 people in the entire world watched them because they actually had a 3-hour what has been called the no rain delay, because it didn't actually rain for 3 hours, and yet they delayed the game as if it was raining.
Yeah.
From its expected 7 o'clock start, and they didn't start until about 10 or 10:30. I was actually sitting on my couch last night, and finally got the alert. I was about ready to go to bed, and just kind of surprised. And Ender Inciarte, who's the center fielder for the Atlanta Braves, who they were playing, has kind of made some headlines with his tweets and his. He was very kind of critical of the whole situation, pretty understandably so. I mean, I've never seen anything like it. I haven't seen any official word from the Nationals or the or anybody as to exactly why. I mean, obviously it was kind of expected to rain, but I've never seen them cancel on expectation or delay on expectation before. Usually they wait for it to actually be unplayable. So I'm not sure why. Really no idea why, but the Ender Inciarte and the Braves got the last laugh. They won 5-2.
The Braves at the last laugh. Hey Tyrone, thanks for joining us. What's up? Good morning. We're in Washington D.C. Let us know where you guys are. We're talking about the Nats game last night. They're calling it the hashtag no rain delay. They basically delayed the game before the rain even started. But have we ever even seen that in baseball?
I've never seen that before ever.
I mean, Nats or in baseball in general.
In baseball in general. I mean, they, and they can play through a drizzle. Usually they wait for like a full-on pouring, and it's a little bit different with the start of games. Like they'll delay games from the start because, especially with starting pitchers, you don't want them warmed up, ready to go, pitch an inning, and then 3-hour rain delay. Pitchers won't come back from that. So what you're essentially doing is wasting a whole start, and then you have your bullpen. A bullpen has to carry 8 innings of work, which obviously hurts down the road in the next game because they're not rested or anything like that. So especially at the beginning of games, they do tend to be more careful and try and not start games until they'll be able to at least get through a significant portion of it. But you figure kind of after 30 minutes maybe of it not raining, that the whole and started the game. So obviously they've got radar, they've got the Nationals grounds crew are looking at everything, at all the advanced technology, and
So they think they know.
So they think they
via the
know.
radar.
I mean, obviously this decision was based on something. I'm not exactly sure what it was, but they, somebody somewhere had a reason to delay the game.
Okay.
And then I guess after 3 hours they decided to finally start it. So
crazy, and it went super late into
the wee hours of the morning.
3 hours of the morning, like 1 a.m.
Interesting enough,
home.
the Nationals actually, for the fans that did stay, ended up giving away free ice cream, free water, free soda.
And you never really see that at a baseball park.
Never
It's
see that.
Expensive. They don't really give
It's
stuff.
water's like $10. I mean,
know.
it's ridiculous.
And if you gotta get it, if you need it, you need it.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, Tyrone, hey, you're from DC, but you're in Houston. Cool. Speaking of Houston. Actually, I met some people from Houston over the weekend at a 4th of July thing. We were talking about Chris Paul again. So.
One of my best friends is originally from Houston. So
cool.
Yeah.
I'm not so familiar with it, but I know it's pretty unique as a city in Texas. Like, it's not like anything else.
I've actually never been to Texas at all.
Oh, interesting. I've only been to Dallas, never to Austin, which is crazy. Everyone's like, I can't believe you haven't been there. And with like all its music and up and coming stuff in the past years in the food scene. But yeah, I've only been to Dallas, and I've never been to Houston. So, Tyrone, if you're down there, let us know what it's like, what the vibe is. We were talking about Houston the other day.
I don't want to offend anyone with this, but I've heard that Dallas is the worst of those 3 major cities in Texas.
I've heard that,
between Austin, Dallas, and Houston.
I don't have a strong opinion, but I've heard that too.
I mean, obviously, I've never been there, so I have no personal opinion, but just from people who, obviously incredibly biased people who live in Texas who are from Houston.
Yeah.
Say that. So if you're from Dallas, I'm sorry, but put in the chat, come back at me, say why it's actually better, what there is to see there, what there is to do.
Yeah, and if you're from, we know that there is that whole thing about being from Texas. Like, Texas people are so proud.
Oh, they're so proud of being from Texas.
No
other state
I know.
is it even close, but Texas is totally its own thing.
I think I learned that in college, though, because people, we both went to schools, or he's currently in school, where people are from all over, and I met so many people from Texas, and they were so proud. They were almost like their own seceded state.
I mean, there's only one state flag that you see regularly,
and that in your brain,
and that I would recognize outside of the Virginia one. So obviously,
your own.
I'm from Virginia, so I know the Virginia and Maryland too. But the only one other than that I know and would recognize, Texas immediately.
And mine, I'm from Rhode Island. I know Rhode Island's, but no one knows that one. And then Texas, of course. You always see it on people's shirts. Don't mess with Texas.
It's just so different. It's so different.
Texas barbecue is different.
And so good.
I have no clout because I don't know much. I'm not from there. But Tyrone, let us know what's up, what's happening in Houston, what you're doing. And yeah, we're here in the DC newsroom, just kind of talking about the events of the day, what's going on today, just seeing what breaks. Have some interesting stuff coming out of NASA later on at noon, and
that's always fun. I like the NASA stuff.
Is cool.
It's always cutting edge. There's nothing boring there.
There is so much progression in space exploration in the past, actually now, in the present day, and in the past 5-10 years, that we're seeing just so much. And even yesterday, even if it wasn't that compelling of a speech, Vice President Pence was talking at NASA, and he was like, "We will put boots on Mars," which is awesome.
The speech aside, putting the boots on Mars are awesome.
And he was like, U.S., we'll put it on there.
And the pictures that came out later of him, there was some kind of spacecraft, and there's a sign that says "Don't touch," super. I'm trying to super fragile. Just basically don't touch, stay away unless you know exactly what you're doing. And there's kind of a picture that's going viral right now of Pence with his hand on basically right below this "Don't touch" sign. So
I know,
really funny. We might be able to get that for you later, depending on just how things work.
Yeah, we have to see what is in our rights to have. But also, what's going on? We have a little video here of Trump meeting Putin for the first time in a while overseas. Let's play it out. We just got this in. This was a big breaker. We broke into the news for it. Check it out.
Bilateral and international issues. Well, phone conversation is never enough, definitely. But if we want to have a positive development in bilaterals and be able to resolve most acute international policy issues, Definitely, we need personal meeting.
Я очень рад с вами познакомиться. Надеюсь, что, как вы сказали,
And I'm delighted to be able to meet you personally, Mr. President, and I hope, as you have said, our meeting will yield positive results for the newsworthy years. Thank you very much.
Yeah, so that's all we have of that. A quick little, like, 1-minute clip of the handshake.
Yeah, and obviously the shutters there of the camera is just going absolutely crazy. I mean, every single basically millisecond at that point, carefully documented. Because obviously Trump and Putin are such a big deal in their relationship, especially with all the Russian investigation stuff.
Right.
Here, locally in the U.S. That's just such a big deal.
Lots of outrage, of course, with that, and just sort of, seeing what becomes of that. And that was it. That was the meeting this morning. It was a quick little thing, and then we'll see what happens. We're supposed to be getting in some footage of just the G20 summit as it continues today, or it starts rather today. Of course, different time frame. They're 6 hours ahead. So we'll see what we get out of that. We're waiting on some video for there. But protests still ongoing. We have some cool video that I'm going to find for us of some protests from earlier this morning.
Oh, the protests!
Crazy.
Yeah. This morning we were all watching in the studio. We had a live earlier and made sure we tried to capture it so that we could replay it for you. But
yeah, I'm gonna try to copy that over. It'll take a bit, but we're gonna get you some of that just to kind of see what was going on earlier this morning and go from there.
And this obviously follows up the protest yesterday, which actually turned kind of violent. Later in the afternoon, 1:30, 2 o'clock, we were actually live for a lot of that. So if you were checking in with us yesterday, you could have seen the live footage of that protest from all our cameras over there in Germany.
Yeah, if anybody was with us yesterday, we had a lot of that live protesting happen, and it really ramped up. The violence
really ramped up, and it was like the whole day. It was fine. I thought it was calm, like throughout the morning. I mean, we had cameras on there the whole time, just kind of running the whole time, and nothing. It was just very calm, very relaxed, and all of a sudden, bang! A flip switch.
Yeah, a switch
flips, and
got it.
And then
what's up, Stig? And then
it was violent. There was massive police movement. There were people throwing things, pushing, hitting. They had the high pressure water hoses going, smoke.
Right,
so it was
right. The tear gas.
Yeah, it got serious pretty quick.
I'm reading Stig some of your comments here. I was backed up on them. Give Pence a break. I totally touched it as well. I thought that was funny too. I want to try to get that photo because it's an interesting thing that's going viral, and it's. I don't know, it's kind of funny, but we don't really have it right now to show you guys. But like, that's the classic thing that you do is touch something that you're not supposed to touch. Commenting on Trump's posture compared to Putin's in that little clip. Yeah, definitely something to analyze. People are going to be endlessly analyzing that stuff. So
yeah, I mean, the aggressiveness probably is one of the big things that got him elected in the first place. So
right,
if he can keep using that effectively, especially going into the rest of his presidency, and now especially internationally with him in Russia or in Germany talking to Putin and stuff is big.
Right, it is big. It is big. We'll have to see what comes of that. What else is going on? We got I don't know. We're going into the weekend with Nats are in town. Right?
Nats are in town. They've got I want to say the Braves today and tomorrow. I'm not sure if they then go on. I think that they might go on a road trip after that. But I'll check that out. Hoping to take a couple because the Braves are quite frankly not that good. So we should win. This is one of those series you kind of look at and point to, especially at home, that you should win. So it's actually a 4-game set. They're at home through Sunday. That's what I'm seeing. So versus Atlanta through Sunday.
All right. And how about this news? Do you guys see this? I'm going to play this out. Ready? Tom Brady is announcing
the release of a book.
A book release.
The TB12 method. It's supposed to be released in September. Yep. Yeah, and it's all about kind of nutrition stuff and workout and his mentality, you know, how he's obviously managed to maintain success for so long. I mean, he's been obviously one of the premier quarterbacks, if not the premier quarterback in the NFL over the last 15 years. He's now almost 40. I want to say he turns 40 during this next season, if not before this next season.
Yeah,
and
he's older.
He's still the best quarterback in the league. And, you know, to be able to sustain that success into what's, you know, without a doubt old for a professional athlete is just absolutely incredible.
Yeah, if you guys are watching, let us know where you're from and what your team is. But mine is definitely the Patriots, being from Rhodey. But anyway, that's exciting. So the book, I guess I'm not surprised. Like, he has money, he has fame. He's older,
I mean,
he's gonna retire eventually. They do that.
Athletes almost always come out with a book at some point. It's just, I mean, obviously what they have to say is meaningful. I mean, obviously, like, they didn't become successful in accident, and especially Tom Brady, who, you know, doesn't have those necessarily physical gifts. I mean, he's not athletic by any stretch of the imagination. You know, super slow, not mobile,
not fast, but
and you know, he's been overlooked really at every stop up until you know, obviously breaking out with the Patriots. You know, a 6th round pick, you know, probably the most famous draft selection, at least in recent NBA history or NFL history, with him going in the 6th round and being one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, just being overlooked and consistently rising above that. So, you know, that's not athleticism. That's you know, hard work from him throughout his entire life. So interesting to see what he says in the book as far as
I'm curious
his journey.
who some of his what do they call it, pen writers, as when you're like secret writer for somebody, when you're like I forget that name, that term. It's like evading me right now. But when you basically are the voice of, and he definitely has some, obviously people like assisting and working on it with him. Ghostwriter. Ghostwriter.
Yeah,
I was like, what pen writer? Yeah, I'm curious to see like who, kind of like the background of that. Sometimes they keep it really secret, but we interesting to see. Also in movie news, Spider-Man came out.
Spider-Man came out. Yeah, I that's probably one that I'll watch. I'm not huge on the superhero theme, you know, movies, but I almost always like find a way to watch them, whether it be in theaters or on demand on, you know, FX or whatever, after it comes out. So I'm sure that eventually I'll get to see that. We'll see if it's in theaters or not.
Yeah, I'm interested in it. It's on my list. I didn't get to do it last night. I wanted to, kind of. I mean, I'm a fan. I just I've been behind on movies personally.
The one on my list to watch is Baby Driver, and we're actually talking with one of the IT guys earlier, Terrence. Big shout out to Terrence, who's always in here fixing things.
I know you're not on,
but he saw Baby Driver yesterday, I think, and he said it was really good. So I'm definitely excited to see that one.
If we were out in the news, we could pull him along and have him come in with us, but he's not here, or he's around, but. Probably, I want to see that one too.
Putting out a fire somewhere else.
I know. You guys sometimes will see cameos of Terrence because he's always in here helping us fix all our stuff, our crap. What's going on?
Everything, always.
It's hard. But guys, we're still waiting on some footage to come in about regarding those protests that we were telling you about. So sort of watching and waiting on that. Stig, you're saying, are we going to talk about Krispy Kreme's birthday? Is that true? You know, I went to school in Winston-Salem where Krispy Kreme originated. And that was an interesting thing because the first Krispy Kreme had just opened in my hometown in Rhode Island. And then I moved to college and it was like, whoa, Krispy Kreme's getting so popular. Then it closed. I just couldn't really, I don't think it could outlast or could last in a northern, I mean, this is just how it was, a northeast town. It wasn't as popular. The popularity kind of waned and it went out of business. So I was very familiar with it in high school. Going into college, of course, going into the hometown of where it was created. And then, but I didn't know that about its anniversary. I'm not a huge Krispy Kreme fan now, but
I mean,
it's Southern.
I love donuts. Actually,
we talked about this
interesting story about Krispy Kreme. When in high school, I played baseball, and we had one game a year always, like at the school, Mount Vernon, local school. We'd play, and which is far. It's probably like an hour or so,
right?
From where I went to high school, and if we won, then on the way home, we'd always stop, and the coach would get like 6 dozen Krispy Kreme donuts.
Oh.
And we'd just pass them around the bus and just crush Krispy Kreme. So,
it's totally a school like sport thing.
So that was always one of the more exciting games of the year, assuming we won, because everyone was always excited for the Krispy Kreme on the way home.
Similarly, we used to bring them to like field hockey practice, and like at the end, it's like negates everything you just did.
Oh, completely.
Miles.
Yeah, no, you're burning calories, and all of a sudden, bang, put like
they're intense.
6,000 calories of just
So
straight crap
much.
back into you.
And people loved them because of the glaze and everything, and like you watch them down the conveyor belt or whatever. And we would bring similarly, we'd bring like dozens and dozens, and everyone would. It was a niche thing back then because it was kind of like a new thing in New England, and yeah, people loved them. So sports teams unite over donuts. Woohoo! All right, guys. Yeah, Stig, you're liking the Krispy Kreme. Cool. Yeah, well. All right. So we're kind of just still checking in on what's happening in the news.
Yep, hanging out.
Big time. Yeah, we're just chilling in the newsroom. It's Friday. Excited to be here on this Friday. Excited that it's Friday.
Friday's always a great day.
Yeah, we'll be back on Monday with more stuff. This was kind of a weird week because the holiday kind of slowed things down. You know, people were kind of in and out of the office.
Vacations, people coming back.
Yeah. Let us know what you guys did in the 4th.
And stuff.
Yeah, if you guys did anything interesting.
Also tell us how the 5th was. I don't know if, you know, that
the day after.
That's notoriously one of, you know, that along with maybe the day after Super Bowl Sunday. Is, you know, notoriously one of those toughest days to get up and go to work.
Definitely.
You know, definitely a struggle bus day for sure. So if you're, let us know how that was.
Today is also National or International World Chocolate Day. I was hearing a lot of that.
World Chocolate?
Yeah, it's like International Chocolate Day.
Is it better than domestic
I think
chocolate?
it's just like everyone celebrates it across the world. And I was reading this thing today that someone just came out with a powdered chocolate that you snort like a drug. A lot of crazy chocolate news coming out today. I was just reading that in my breaking news this morning.
You lose the whole taste aspect.
I know.
I feel like that's not worth it at all.
I think it's supposed to be like the sugar high to the brain, but it's not illegal because it's not a drug. It's an edible thing. It's kind of crazy. So that was coming out in you know, coordination with Chocolate Day.
I think I would recommend just eating a lot of chocolate instead of snorting the chocolate.
I know, there's so much sugar in it.
Just because, like, you still get the sugar rush and you eat chocolate, which...
Stig says no one with kids got any sleep on the 4th. Yeah. Stig, do you have kids? Is that what happened to you? I don't know. I was also under the weather for the weekend, but having a good time with friends. So it was like a crazy, you know, weekend.
It's always a crazy weekend.
And yeah, kids is tough.
Yeah.
I would think.
I mean, kids are always tough.
I know. Oh, man, guys. All right. So we continue on. Let's see what's happening. If you guys have anything interesting that you want to talk about, let us know. And let us know where you're watching from. We want to always see. Oh, he has kids. So, okay, cool. So he knows that side of it. Yeah, we're going to bring you some protest videos shortly. We saw this really crazy video in Germany this morning that was interesting. So
yeah, and
we're going to bring that to you when we get it.
That for you. It was pretty funny.
Honestly. Yeah, it was funny.
Pretty funny.
People are creative.
Very creative.
And that's what we got going on, guys. We're gonna watch and wait, but check out a live picture of the White House, and we'll be right back with you. Hey guys, we're back for a second. We're just reading now that BWI Airport is shut down due to a reported possible suspicious package alert. Amtrak has shut down, rather not the whole airport, but BWI, the station, the Amtrak and Mark station in the area. So if you guys are local, that's kind of an interesting thing. I take that a lot, and I rely on that. Oh, looks like we're getting some video in on that. Let's see if we can get this.
Again, on Edgewise Channel 1, we're going to Baltimore for a suspicious package.
Yeah, okay, looks like we're trying to get effort this video, what we were just talking about. That's crazy. Possible suspicious package at BWI Airport in Baltimore. So we're going to grab this video if we do get it. Looking for that now. But what we know is there are now Amtrak delays between Washington and Baltimore due to that police activity. So let's check out, I guess, some aerials here. I'm trying to get these in of BWI. I'm sure I got the right one here. We'll wait for that to come down. But yeah, well, let's keep an eye on Twitter here for more on this. Now, we see a lot of these suspicious package stuff. Always important thing because it could be serious, whether near the Capitol, near the White House, of course, in the district at all. This one being airport involved, also quite scary. And I would say could be really important. There it is. Aerials right now of Baltimore, where they're working on a suspicious package issue. All right, guys, so here we go. Aerials of BWI Airport now. If you guys are just joining us or still watching, thanks so much for joining us on Fox 5 Live today. Some of you guys saying that BWI is a great airport. I agree. I've actually flown out of them a lot. We all use it down here. It's sort of a part of the whole conglomerate here in the DMV of the three trifecta of airports. And it looks like Amtrak actually tweeted this out. Check out this. We're going to split screen that. Or rather, BWI tweeted this out, that the Amtrak station is shut down for a suspicious package investigation. This was about 45 minutes ago. They tweeted this. Trains and buses were stopped until further notice. Now, if I take a look at some of the other tweets, they had a couple more that came out basically saying they retweeted Amtrak's tweet talking about how they're holding traffic on all trains south of BWI. So that includes, that's trains coming out of DC, due to the police activity. So customers need to know that there could be delays of up to 30 minutes or possibly more.
Yeah, it's got to be causing a lot of problems as far as
yeah, lots of police there. They're zooming in.
as far as logistics and travel go.
Yeah, so that's what we know, guys. Taking all this into account, lots of police there, and we'll see what becomes of this in breaking news here. All right, guys, not a whole lot of new information on this right now. You're looking at aerials over BWI Airport, Thurgood Marshall Airport. I was just there, actually, recently over the 4th of July timing, and I took a train there. Turns out they suspended train and bus activity south of BWI. Police activity is ongoing. Customers are being told there will be some delays. That's never good with airport stuff.
You hate to see that.
It's going to be backed up. It's going to back up people's connections, everything around. So according to BWI and their tweet, the Amtrak station, the whole station itself is shut down for a suspicious package investigation. Hopefully they clear that soon and it's not a big deal, but you just never know with these things, and they're looking into that now. Meanwhile, guys, over in Hamburg, Germany, check it out. Protests still ongoing at the G20. Listen to those sirens.
Definitely smaller than it was yesterday.
Yeah.
I mean, yesterday there were thousands upon thousands of people.
Yep. Crazy. This is live video, guys. Lots of police force, sirens. Craziness. In a bit, I'm going to show you some more video that we got this morning of another protest in Germany. Oh yeah, this is it. All right, let's go back home now, locally to Baltimore, where we're seeing this scene right here, Baltimore BWI Airport. There's some aerials. Not sure if the chopper is leaving us, possibly, but they're investigating a suspicious package at BWI Airport. So we're going to be monitoring that as long as we have that feed. But for now, back to Hamburg. Some more protests going on there during the G20. And we saw President Trump meet briefly with Putin this morning. A quick handshake, a quick sort of photo op, I guess. And now he's in a closed meeting.
Yeah, and so that was just more of the photo op aspect, and now they've been in a closed session, just the two of them, and what was originally scheduled to be like a 40-minute meeting is still going on. They're now at an hour and a half, so hopefully lots of things are getting done. And
check out, let's split it. Check out this other scene from this morning. These are live pictures here of the protest. And this morning, the bottom of your screen there, this was crazy. A very creative, intricate showing by Greenpeace. You'll see it in a second when they zoom in the right corner of your screen. But it is, a lot of protesters are there who are protesting various topics: trade, anti-capitalist stuff, climate change. This one was the latter, climate change, and you'll check it out in a second when they get to it, but pretty interesting stuff coming out of these protests. There's some sit-ins in the street from earlier this morning.
It's not somehow avoid non-stop constant.
All right, guys, also switching gears for a second, we're probably going to have a lot of these protests on all day, so you'll get to see some more of this footage that we'll bring to you, including that creative display that was about climate change. But now over to live NASA TV. They often feed us some really interesting stuff, and we can get that live. It's a video feed of the ISS Expedition 5253. It's a crew qualification training at a cosmonaut training center in Star City, Russia. So check out this from NASA TV.
Okay, you can take photographs right now, and after that, please let the crew perform the simulation in the mock-up. Do you have any questions? If you do have any questions, please ask us. If not, then please let the crew do what they're doing, but this is your only opportunity to ask questions.
Итак, проверяемся. Блоки очистки. Закончили. Блоки очистки. Прекрасно. Габарей, да? Посадку коса.
Good morning. Mr. Chairman of the Examination Commission, MS-05's crew is ready for the exam. Good morning, and we're happy to see you. Take the ticket. Good luck, and you know you can do it. Thank you. Sergey, do you have a couple of minutes? Yes, sure. Good morning. Can you please move closer to the table?
A couple of questions. First of all, it's been a long training template. You're in the home stretch now. What are the things that you and your crewmates are going to focus on during this last several weeks before launch? And if Paulo could answer the same question in both English and Italian, that would be great.
Certainly the training phase is ending, and it'll be for us getting nice time to relax, kind of get our minds straight after all the whole training flow, and get really focused on remembering the acts and the physical things and the tasks we're going to do on orbit. The other thing will be getting the updates on what's the latest. We've been in this training bubble getting updates along the way, but now we'll get the people get the last updates on, okay, here's exactly what's making it on the vehicles, here's exactly when the vehicles are coming, or at least as far as we know, and here's the tasks that we'll be doing. So we're looking forward to really focusing on not pretending anymore, or simulating anymore, but actually the tasks we're going to do. And then we'll have a chance to take up with Peggy and Toothfish, and Sergey will be taking up with Fyodor. I'm going, here's what's really going on. Here's what you can expect when you get up here. And that's when it really gets exciting and real, because they've done the steps to prepare for us to arrive. So we're really looking forward to that and making it real.
You want the same answer more or less in English? So these are the last few weeks before launch. We are here in Star City today and tomorrow, our last qualification sims. We are ready to go and simulate going to space. And then we change pace. A few days resting with the family, getting the last points that we can use later, I guess. And then Baikonur quarantine and the last operational things before launch. So it's pretty interesting time. It's a nice moment to live, and looking forward to flying space and be there again. In Italian, we'll look there. Okay, let's all look there. So. Sì, siamo a Star City negli ultimi giorni qui a Star City per un paio di giorni in cui faremo gli esami finali, oggi nel segmento russo, domani sulla Soyuz. Dopodiché le operazioni standard con la commissione, la visita alla Piazza Rossa, qualche giorno di tregua con la famiglia e poi a Baikonur per le ultime 2 settimane per le operazioni per il lancio. Siamo pronti e aspettiamo con fervitudine la possibilità di andare nello spazio di nuovo, tutte e tre.
It sounds so much lyrical when you do it in Italian.
Randy, one more quick one from me. 8 years since you've flown in space. What are, as you prepare for this second flight of your career, what are the things you want to assimilate once you get up on orbit, use your experience from that first flight to really relish and savor?
I'd have to say the 11-day mission we did on STS-129 got a chance to operate in space. But you didn't really get a chance to live and soak it all up. We got a chance to observe the Earth. We didn't get a chance to, experience, the way I hear talking to these guys who've done the 6-month mission. So the thing that'll be most different will not only just be the volume of work we'll do and the variety of science experiments that we'll get a chance to execute. It's as a human being living off the planet for that long, that's the part that I think will be the most memorable, most interesting, most the newest part of the spaceflight adventure for me.
Thank you very much, and good luck. Thank you. And let's take a photograph of all 3 of you. Thank you.
All right, guys, you're still watching Fox 5 Live. Thanks so much for staying on with us here on our stream today. We are jumping around from different news sources today. A really interesting thing at NASA, kind of cool to peer into one of these crew trainings that happened over the course of today and yesterday, and they're playing that back for us from NASA. But also, we get a lot of other stuff going on, too. You guys have been seeing these protests in Hamburg, Germany here for the G20. We're kind of in and out of that feed, checking out the scene there. As this all goes down, President Trump, of course, there currently in a private meeting with President Vladimir Putin of Russia. And also, let's take it back over to the States now. In memory of the ambush last year, 1 year ago today, that cost 4 Dallas police officers and 1 transit officer their lives. Family and friends are gathering today for this memorial here to honor the victims, the murdered officers. 1 year later, and this is the memorial. We're going to listen in here. This was the deadliest single incident for law enforcement officers since 9/11. So that's what people are using to sort of denote how really big and what an effect this had on America, on the communities, on the law enforcement community as well. So they have a weekend of events planned. This is part of that memorial. Let's listen in.
So today we remember the lost lives, the fathers, sons, brothers, uncles that did not make it home that evening, and those injured because of senseless violence. And we recognize that at Centro College, we have met the challenge as exemplified by the hashtag #ElCentroStronger. And we are defined by the core values of strength, community, resilience, diversity, service, and hope. Each of us, each of you in this audience is El Centro Strong. Thank you. Now it is my pleasure to invite DC Conflict Management Program Coordinator and Dallas City Council Person Adam Magoo.
So it's significant that it was Thursday night. Many of our classes that I teach here in mediation go from 5 to 9 on Thursday evening. And Thursday last year, I happened to not have a class that evening. And so I was able to go pick my kids up from soccer practice, which was a luxury that I enjoyed thoroughly. And it was right when I had picked them up, it had gotten dark, had the radio on, and I hear shots fired. And you know, my first thought was, you know, we've had so many protests, we've had so many issues, it was only a matter of time till something like this happened. And I kind of just thought, okay, well, we've got the best police officers, we've got the best folks, we'll handle it, it's fine. And I kept driving, and as I was driving home, the news was escalating of what was happening. And I remember walking in the door, I took my kids over to my wife, she was still not knowing what had happened, and I called. My previous job before being a city council member is I was the chief of staff for Mayor Rawlings. And I called the current chief of staff, and I said, what's going on? How bad is this? And he said, look, we know we have officers down. We don't know how bad yet, but we know we have them down. And I just said, look, can I help? And at this point, it wasn't about being an elected official, it wasn't anything else. It was the same kind of feeling that all of us around this, when you first started hearing about it, you want to do something. And I expected him to say, no, you can't do anything right now. And he just said, yes. And I said, all right, I'm on my way. And I remember this moment of telling my kids and my wife, I'm like, look, I'm heading down there. And they said, by this time you started to see something on the news. And my son said, don't go. And I just had a window into the lives of what each one of our officers feel, whether it be Dallas County Community College or DART Police or DPD, as they leave each day. And I was honored and blessed to be able to come in and go to the Emergency Operations Center and be there with a group of our leaders that were trying to determine how to respond and what to do and how to inform all of us of what was going on. And I was standing next to Chief Brown as we were preparing for the first press conference and getting everything together, and things were moving so quickly and you're getting information out. And about that time I heard him say, he's in the parking garage at El Centro. And so now it's not just my police family that's involved, it's my El Centro family that's involved. And I start trying to figure out who can I call, what can I figure out, because in every one of our circumstances, we all have a significant emotional event like this. We remember it forever, for the rest of our lives. But we start thinking of those closest to us first and then start moving that circle out of who we can contact and who we can check on. And I started doing that like anybody else would. And then something happened. They had the picture of the suspect, we thought, and we're all taking pictures of our cell phone and trying to tweet it out. And we're walking through City Hall to have the first press conference. And, you know, you get caught up in the moment of trying to get things done and get information out. And you start thinking about what's happening right here at our school, at our city, at our home, with our loved ones all involved and being targeted. And it was just a moment that, you know, I think about it a lot. I think about it every time I will go over to the R building to teach a class or go there and I see the windows that were knocked out from where he was shooting. I know right where Sergeant Smith was shot. I know where this occurred, and it's something that we live and relive every single time we walk these streets. But then I immediately go to all of our brothers and sisters and the families of those that feel that every single morning when they get up and go to bed, and every single time. And I just have such a heart for that sacrifice that they give. And so while we think about it on the year anniversary, I hope we continue to remember all the sacrifices that are given each and every single day. Now, right afterwards, I got the opportunity to do some interviews, and they would ask, you know, this happened in Dallas. What do you think about it happening in Dallas? And I remember my honest first thought was, if it could happen anywhere, no one would ever wish this on anybody in any city. But we were probably the most prepared of any big city in the country to deal with this, because we have connections, we have relationships that have started years and years that can help us go through and move forward from something like this. And so I said, I think that we are going to come together as a city like no city ever has. And I've seen that. We have a year of unity. We have so many different church groups coming together and communities coming together and people working, and we're talking in ways that we haven't talked before, which is great. But then the follow-up question is, how are race relations here in the city now? Are we better? You know, I don't know if I can answer that question yet. I teach mediation. I'm involved in a lot of high-stakes conflict. And what we always do when there's conflict is we immediately look for information that justifies our side and discredits the others. Doesn't matter what it is. Real news, fake news, whatever it is, we look for information that bolsters what we think already, and we discredit the other side. And I think the divided country that we have is still prevalent. And I think the call for a day like today is to say, all right, we remember, and we will remember each and every day moving forward, but it doesn't matter if we don't change ourselves and if we don't use this to absolutely move forward in a way that's different for this whole city. And in many ways, we're doing it. But we have to make the decision, each one of us internally, to change ourselves, to not be the first one to find some bit of information that's negative about somebody else that divides us and post it all over social media, but to analyze, to sit back and think through what's really going on in our communities, and to have real meaningful conversations that establish a relationship, not just a social media post. And so I'm encouraged, I'm challenged, I'm thankful to be part of this event today. I'm thankful for each and every one of our officers and our first responders and all those that are out there giving. And I'm committing to continuing having those kind of dialogues that really make a difference for our El Centro family, for our city of Dallas, and for our entire country moving forward. So thank you for this opportunity to be just a small part of this. And I really look forward to seeing what this next year, the next months and weeks moving forward. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Councilmember Magoo. Hello, everyone. My name is Paige Blue Jacket, and I have the honor of introducing a true hero today, even though all of you who serve us every day, you're heroes every day. But we're very honored here at El Centro College to have someone like El Centro College Chief Hannigan, and DCCCD Commander Hannigan. I'm not sure which one it is. Commander Hannigan, okay. Well, he was here that night, and he did lead all of our officers who were here in the building, including Corporal Shaw and Officer Abbott, who is here with us today. Thank you very much. So we'd just like to hear a couple remarks from you.
Well, good morning, and thank you very much for coming and spending this time with us. As Paige said, my name is Joseph Hannigan, and I have the distinct honor of being the commanding officer of the police officers assigned to the El Centro College. About 2 years ago, I put a request for some equipment in with my then boss, David Browning. It got denied. And this repeated itself month in and month out. And then finally David said, well, make a case for it. So I wrote down and I made a case for the equipment I was asking for. And it was tactical equipment. And I was advised that in 50 years, El Centro has never needed rifles or tactical plates or helmets or anything of that nature. And I said to him, because it hasn't happened in the past 50 years, does not mean that we might not experience it in the next 50. We need to be prepared. And Dr. Adamus approved all of that equipment, so we had it on hand that night when Xavier Johnson broke into our building. I'd like to acknowledge my boss, Chief Hill, who's as you may know, all of the colleges have reorganized, and we're no longer 7 separate colleges. We are now the DCCCD Police Department, which brings us to 160 sworn police officers. And Chief Hill is guiding us and bringing us through that process and making sure that we have all the equipment we need now. I'd also like to mention my wife, Jen, standing right over here. I'd like to thank her for coming. So to go over the story, I got my equipment. July 7th happened, that equipment was utilized, and Chief Hill is going to make sure that we have all the equipment we need for any future things that El Centro might run into, which, knock on wood, we'll never see again. Looking back on it though, the thing that touched me most about the aftermath of July 7th was the outpouring of support that we seen from the community, from our own students, our faculty, our staff. We noticed the difference. We noticed the change in them. Just standing outside, we have people come up to us all day long, thank us, shake our hands. When we were having the security perimeter, we were having women cook for us and bringing over casseroles and drinks, and it was just amazing to see. Just completely amazing and humbling. And it's one of the things that has made me so proud to be a law enforcement officer and to work in such a great place. Again, I hope we never experience a tragedy like we experienced last July 7th. But anybody who works here, visits here, you have some very highly trained police officers to protect you, and feel free to come as many times as you want, because we are prepared. And thank you for all your support, the students, faculty, and staff, and all the citizens, the community around us. It's very, very much appreciated by each and every one of us. Thank you.
Hello. So the next person that we are going to hear from, I remember we stood in the hallway here at El Centro College a couple of weeks after this event happened, and an hour and a half went by. We were talking about this. We were talking about our community, how this affected everyone here in Dallas and in the nation. And she is such a profound speaker, and she just has an amazing way of looking at things and learning how to resolve things. So I want to introduce you to Rachel Royal. She's one of our students. She also works here. She was not here on the night of July 7th, but she did spend a lot of time counseling other students and faculty and staff members afterwards. So she's been very active in the healing process. So please welcome Rachel Royal.
Good morning, and thank you so very much. People who know me will tell you I'm not a person that's ever at a loss of words. And I'm very thankful for that, because words are what connect us. But unfortunately, sometimes words are also what disconnect us. And this was an occasion that I took a lot of time, and I put a lot of effort to make sure that I chose my words so that they could be received as I felt them in my heart. I don't usually write speeches. I kind of free willy it, and that's my thing. But I thought today was a little too special for that. And I thought the topic and that the people might be in a sensitive place. So I just wanted to make sure that I wrote it down right, and I pray that I'm able to express it correctly. Before I start, I would like to take a moment of silence for the lives that were lost prior to July 7th, 2016. I would like to take a moment of silence for those lives that were lost on July 7th, 2016. And I would like to take a moment of silence for those who have lost their lives since July 7th of 2016. Thank you. My name is Rachel Royal, and I'm honored to be here with you today to share my heart and insights concerning the events that affected our college and our community as of a year ago today. July 7th will forever be a date in which we will remember and reflect on how we as a community suffered a great loss. We will remember that as our college community and our city became a place that drew the attention of people from all across our nation, we made a pledge to be strong. We were, and we are, El Centro strong. We made a pledge that we would not allow the events that took place on that day to define us as a community, and that we would get through it by being there for each other. We would be the example of how to successfully interact and engage with others, regardless of their religion, race, social status, educational background, nationality, gender, or sexual orientation. We would be better as a community, and more importantly, we would be better as individuals. This is what we said. That is how we felt. However, for me to be completely transparent on how I feel today regarding this occasion, it is of utter importance that we start just a few days prior to July 7th. I am the proud mother of 5 young boys. My son, DeMario, celebrated his 11th birthday on July the 1st. He was so excited to have his friends over to help him celebrate. He has a love for life and is filled with adventure, and he sees the world through the eyes of true childlike innocence. His biggest fear was that his friend who was competing with him on the latest video game challenge would eventually beat his high score. As his friends began to come over to our house, I watched children from all backgrounds, Black, white, Hispanic, and Asian, run, laugh, and play together. I saw them coexisting with each other in a way that was simply admirable. After everyone left, DeMario and I opened his various gifts, and he expressed his appreciation for his friends, making his day so very special. It really was a great day. I remember looking at him and having a feeling of pride that I had taught him to be such a giving and a loving person. I had no idea how quickly things would change. I would soon become filled with fear and rage. I would hold my children and cry over the uncertainty of their futures. What a difference a day makes. The next significant date prior to July 7th was the day before, July the 6th. That morning, the boys and I started our day as we usually did. I cooked breakfast, and after the boys finished completing their household chores, they asked if they could go outside and play. As they ran out of the house, I began to check my cell phone for messages. I immediately went to my Facebook account, and as I was scrolling, I saw the most horrific video I've ever witnessed. I had to watch it 4 more consecutive times because I couldn't grasp the reality that this was actual live footage and not someone making some horrible joke. You see, I had made a conscious effort to not watch the news for months because I just couldn't handle hearing about yet another unarmed person or a legally armed person being killed, and the circumstances surrounding their deaths raising more questions than answers. In my own way, not hearing about these occurrences daily almost took away the fact that it was so frequently happening. I found myself trying to be as unbiased as I could, and I tried to make sure that I took all accounts and perspectives into consideration. I have the utmost respect for law enforcement, and I know that the service they contribute to help protect and serve our community is immeasurable. I also feel that everyone has to be held accountable for their choices and actions, whether you wear a uniform or not. Perception is very important, and so often it's our misperceptions of each other that's the root of conflict. I recalled a situation where some student leaders had approached me and told me they were planning to walk out and protest our school's security policies and the interactions they had experienced with some of our campus police officers. My first question to them was, had they spoken to anyone about their concerns? I was a little alarmed when they told me that they had not. They told me that no one would be willing to listen to them and automatically would take the officer's side. I asked them to please allow me the opportunity to address their concerns with our administration before they took any further action. I spoke to our Vice President, Dr. Crawford, and I also spoke to Chief Hannigan. Both Dr. Crawford and Chief Hannigan were very eager to assist me, and the chief explained about how some criminal activities on our campus committed by people who were not students had resulted in our officers being more diligent in seeking to find out who was coming onto our campus and what their manner of business was. After meeting back up with these leaders from the student organizations and explaining everything to them, their attitudes towards the officers turned from aggravation to appreciation. Now just imagine what the outcome would have been if we never would have taken that time out just to talk. As I began pondering these thoughts, I went outside to get my children. I could no longer just pretend that these situations did not exist. I told them they needed to come into the house so we could talk. I asked them, please, to never play hide and seek around our apartments because I was afraid that someone may mistakenly think they were up to no good. I explained to them what they should do if they were ever stopped by law enforcement officers. I tried to think of every way possible that I could keep them safe. I was nervous and at a complete loss. They know the difference between right and wrong, and I know that they're just little boys. However, I also know that soon they will be young men, and people who think they are cute boys could possibly view them as dangerous men. I wanted to believe that if they did the right thing and made the right choices, everything would be fine. But would it? Mothers were bearing their children who went to the store to buy snacks, who were playing in parks, selling cigarettes, and whose cars had broken taillights. I, for the first time in my life, felt completely vulnerable and hopeless. And then, the very next day, was July the 7th. I had been up all night, and I decided not to go to campus. I was physically and mentally exhausted. When I read the alert to stay away from campus, I was not immediately alarmed because this had happened before. But then I got a phone call that stated there had been a shooting on campus. The reports on the news continued to describe the shooting that took place and the fact that it was going on at our campus. I immediately reached out to as many people as I could think of to check to make sure that they would be okay. It would be days before I would get the full report on the events that took place. I was in complete disbelief. My heart was so heavy for all of those who lost their lives, those who walked alongside protesters to ensure their safety at the risk of losing their own. I felt so torn. I wanted to be fully able to mourn for those who lost their lives on July the 7th. But the truth was that I was still trying to process the information from the previous day, the previous month, and the previous year. I wasn't sure how much more my heart could take. I felt completely hopeless and helpless. On July 12th, there was an interfaith memorial service held in honor of the slain officers. Our previous president, Barack Obama, was the speaker. I was one of several student leaders who was chosen to attend. I listened intently as the president delivered an eloquent and heartfelt speech. He spoke about the fallen officers, and he also spoke of the fallen citizens. As I looked at the mothers and the fathers and the husbands and the wives and the children of the officers, I felt an immediate connection to them. We were all hurting. We all had experienced fear and loss. We all wanted individuals to be held accountable. We all wanted to feel as if we mattered. It's a shame that people tried to make you feel that you had to choose to mourn for one group, the slain officers, or the other, the slain citizens. Every life that is lived matters, and every life that is lost matters. We are all human, and death does not discriminate. That was the day that my journey of healing began. Our country is hurting. Once again, people are feeling unseen, unvalued, unheard, and as if they don't matter. Forgiveness happens in a moment, but healing is truly a process. We must become comfortable with being uncomfortable. We must be honest with ourselves before we can ever expect to be honest with anyone else. It was only 2 weeks ago that I attended a diversity and equity training seminar where I voiced my concerns with participating in this event. I just wasn't sure that I would be able to articulate my feelings without causing anyone any offense. I wasn't sure if I could say that even though it's been a year, I still have days that I really struggle to process everything that is happening. However, I learned a very valuable lesson at that seminar. Silence has a voice, even though it says no words. To say nothing can be just as damaging as saying the wrong thing. So today, here I am. Being strong doesn't mean we don't feel pain. It just means we don't allow pain to feel us. As we continue to move forward and accomplish our various goals and personal endeavors, it is important that we remember all of those who lost their lives, because the best way to honor them is to make sure that we live a life that is impactful and a life that makes a difference. We truly, truly, truly need each other. It's not just a montage to say, united we stand and divided we fall. It is the truth. Centro College and all those who are in our community continue to strive for success because we live by our motto of changing lives through higher education. We embody the task of being critical thinkers and not just individuals who point out the problems, but we are those who roll up our sleeves and work hard to seek to find resolution. We are El Centro, and we are strong. Thank you so very much for the opportunity to share my heart and my insight today on this day of remembrance. God bless you.
Thank you, Rachel. One more time for Rachel. It takes a lot of courage to stand up here. I do apologize. I didn't introduce myself to you all.
All right, guys, looks like that feed has somewhat frozen, possibly. We're not really sure what's going on, but you're watching this memorial for the slain Dallas officers that were killed 1 year ago today in the deadliest attack ambush on law enforcement since 9/11. Pretty crazy stat.
Yeah.
I had no
really
idea that
crazy.
was actually the case until I was reading into this a little more. Not sure if we're going to get this back, but we're going to keep an eye on it. Check this out, guys. Also in the news, kind of crazy, that just came up. The Tennessee Highway Patrol busted a guy, check it out, for this. It's 700 pounds of marijuana. seized
700?
a whale of a drug bust, they're saying. It was a vehicle towing another vehicle. The guy looked nervous. And troopers noticed the driver. The license plate was concealed. A lot of suspicion there. And he was busted. I was thinking about this, though, because speaking of marijuana, today, the first medical dispensary in Maryland opens for marijuana. So we already have seen them in D.C., but now it's open in Maryland. So kind of related.
It opens for pre-orders only
to
this point. Yeah, the one in Maryland is...
Get wait in line.
At this point, just pre-orders, and it won't actually be ready until it's after Labor Day. I think I heard that correctly. So
pretty crazy.
Yeah, opening its doors, though.
Yeah. So anyway, just a lot in the news there. But meanwhile, this guy gets stopped. Look how much that is. That's the pick they have.
That's
a lot of marijuana.
So much money.
No wonder he was on a vehicle being conducted or dragging another vehicle to get that. I don't know. All right, guys, if you're joining us, welcome thanks for joining us again. Thanks for staying on our stream. It's Molly and intern Cam here in the digital newsroom. We're keeping a check on these protests that are going on over the G20, where the G20 starts up today, the summit of 19 countries and the EU, making 20 international leaders, economists of the like are gathering together. And there are protests that abound in Germany. Mostly now we're seeing sort of just footage of what it looks like over there as these countries come together. But also we have some really interesting video of some protests from earlier. Check out this. See if I can get this for us. This is what we were talking about from before. Trump by sea. Check out this protest. Climate change. They unveil it slowly. But it's a pretty interesting video.
It slowly. It's from Greenpeace is the organization that sponsored it or put it on. You'll see their signs around.
Yeah.
But they're just on this kind of barge floating down a river in Germany. And
a lot of effort going on there.
And it's a phenomenal effort. You know, the whole, it's a piece of art in many ways.
It really is. I mean, it is. So we were kind of watching this, like, what is this going to be? Okay, he's ripping something in half. Obviously, they're slow to reveal it, but they're slowly taking the pieces off.
Yeah, the covering's off little by little, and once you see the end product, it's just absolutely phenomenal.
And so people really went all out for this. A lot of anti-Trump, of course, protests. A lot of anti-capitalist, climate change protests in wake of President Trump's decisions to come out of to pull out of the Paris Climate Accord. A lot of stuff. People really came together to protest this. So I thought this was a pretty compelling video to check out, and we're kind of still watching, seeing what's coming out for more video, for more breaking news, live events of today. If you're on with us, feel free to chat along with us on the YouTube chat. Let us know what your thoughts are and what you think about the stream and where you're watching from. Curious kind of where everybody is as we kind of go through the events of the day. More of the live protest as well, which we're gonna split screen for you guys. You can check it out. All right, guys, so in case you're just joining us, you're looking at pictures of the G20 starting up in Hamburg, Germany. You can see the leaders kind of all coming in, joining together, all the flags of the nations. And then in the bottom right corner of your screen, the protests still continue. This was a very exuberant piece of artwork. Now it's slowly being unveiled here in this video. You can see it is time for a change. It's about climate change made by Greenpeace. And you can determine for yourself what it exactly means. It is President Trump there in this not so flattering piece of artwork.
Definitely not flattering. It's definitely an anti-Trump piece.
So
that much we know for sure.
That's what we know. So anyway, we'll kind of keep these juxtaposed together for you guys to check out, and then we'll kind of jump around to other news items as we get them in. Thanks for watching. Hi guys, if you're joining us on YouTube or Facebook, we are watching right now coverage of the G20. It's all about to start. The countries are gathering together, and there's also concurrent protests still going on. You can see this float here on the river. That was quite a piece of art. Cam and I were looking at it here. I'm going to throw him in the screen. There he is. So we've been kind of monitoring this for this morning, but also concurrently, guys, we have this up live on our Facebook. Check it out. We're going to totally switch gears, come back across the pond. They're still dealing with this possible suspicious package situation at BWI Airport. They're on the tracks now over at Amtrak Mark. And if you guys are familiar with this area, I was actually just at this airport. And there we go. Let's see. Yeah, so we're going to get more information on this for you guys. But it looked like they were going to put something on the tracks, possibly detonate something or clear it. We don't know exactly what they were doing, but just so you guys know, the Amtrak station at BWI Airport has been shut down, and this is what we're looking at now. This is all the information we have. Pretty crazy stuff, right, Cam?
Yeah, no, I mean, this is just another one of those situations. You know, a suspicious package, you know, turns into, you know, who even knows what, basically. And we had this suspicious truck yesterday at the Air Force Base.
Right,
I mean,
in Massachusetts.
Everyone's just so hyper aware now. So, you know, because obviously worst case is horrible.
Yeah.
So you have to be hyper aware. So we get these cases.
Exactly.
A lot.
We're watching sort of our tweets and our emails as this all unfolds to see if it becomes anything. But really, this is a huge inconvenience because it's so funny. You're on Amtrak. You never know when something's going to go wrong, and you're not going to get where you need to go. Amtrak is generally pretty reliable, but we hear about all these mess ups, and it kind of makes you think, well, this is basically our only cross-state train system on the East Coast here, obviously also on the West Coast, but it's what we use. It feeds Union Station here in DC, and apparently, I guess earlier they had closed all the stations south of BWI down through south down to DC. So I don't know the current status on that, but we're looking and going to try to update you guys on that. But right now, this is the live look at in the investigation on the tracks there.
Produces blue, green, and red artificial.
Yeah, no sound on this actually. That was no one's kind of reporting over this. This is just an aerial view right now of the Amtrak station at Baltimore Washington International Airport. Some of you may be familiar with it. There were reports of a suspicious package, so they're looking into that. No, I haven't actually seen what they were looking into, or a backpack, or any type of piece of luggage, or anything that they were looking at, but it seems to be that they're hovering over the tracks here. So it's something to do with that.
I wonder if it got dropped out of the train in some way or something like that. Because I also I haven't seen what the actual package is. We just obviously see kind of the police walking around and monitoring the situation.
Right, and of course, guys, apologies for the little bit of the shaky video, but this is the aerial view that we have feeding in to us. Pretty interesting to watch because I'm curious to see what they'll find and when they'll clear it, if that will happen, hopefully. So we'll kind of just watch and wait and see what becomes of this. But pretty crazy. Not something you hear about really with BWI often. This is not something I would have thought for today.
Yeah.
I guess you never know, right?
Yeah, I mean, definitely one of the bigger airports, especially on the kind of in that Mideast region around DC.
Yep.
Probably the biggest. So almost in some ways, it's maybe surprised it doesn't happen more, considering the amount of traffic that goes through there. You know,
Lots
the amount
of
of things
traffic.
that can happen.
Yeah, exactly. And guys, if you're just joining us on YouTube, you're watching Fox 5 Live. We're here in Washington, D.C., Fox 5 local news. You're watching aerial view right now of BWI Airport. That's Baltimore Washington International Thurgood Marshall Airport, if you're familiar in the area. And look at right there, investigators are checking out the tracks here at Amtrak, the Amtrak station that's associated with BWI, which is a good bus ride away from the actual terminals. And, they're checking into whatever they found. Some type of suspicious package is what we were hearing, and clearing that. Now, the Amtrak station has been shut down there, so things going through there, which is a lot of trains, MARC trains, the commuter rail to Baltimore, and Amtrak trains, which end up in Washington, D.C. So definitely an inconvenience to this chunk of the Mid-Atlantic here for Amtrak. But meanwhile, guys, switch it up. I just saw President Trump over there at the G20. This is ongoing. G20 is beginning today. Leaders of all these nations are coming together, and President Trump and Melania just walked in. I think I just switched it a little bit too late, but they just walked in there. And then also protests continued this morning, which is in the bottom right of your screen here. Very artful protests, large and seemingly expensive, I guess, intricate protests on the water there.
Yeah, I mean,
there's Ivanka and Jared.
Artistic,
yeah,
almost masterpiece, really. I mean, like, just it's
Totally.
impressive. I mean, regardless of your political view on it.
Totally is a masterpiece. And then you see right below us here, guys, Ivanka. It looks like this is coming in down live. All right, guys, we'll take you back, because it seems to be repeating. We'll take you back over here to the East Coast here in the USA, to Baltimore Washington International Airport. We're still keeping an eye on this possible suspicious package thing that's going on. Here it is, and they're still efforting this search, so we're gonna kind of watch and wait to see what happens. But it looks like nothing's moving through there. The trains have shut down, and you know, this is a big inconvenience here. So I don't know what's gonna happen next, but they're still working on it. Looks like, look at the dogs coming out. Not exactly sure what's happening, but
Shadow of the Moon.
yeah, guys, I don't think we really have an update on this. If you're just joining us on the YouTube stream, it's Molly and Cam here in the digital newsroom. You're looking at, there it is, K9 officers checking out this Amtrak train station. I was just there this past weekend. I take that train a lot to go up to BWI, and I was taking it up to take a ride from BWI Airport, meet some friends at the airport, and, you know, easily got off. You don't think twice. You take that for granted. But now This station itself is shut down. They found there are reports of a package, a suspicious package found there, and investigators are still checking into that. So I don't actually have an update on this. We don't even know really if it was found on the tracks or in that actual station.
I mean, it seems to be the tracks to me, just because they're, you know, all the aerials we've gotten are people walking around the tracks, but you never.
Yeah, exactly. It does seem like that, and they're having the dogs kind of check out all that, or possibly maybe they would have said this if they found it like in somewhere in the vicinity of a train or in a train or thrown out of a train, like you said. But something to do with the tracks, obviously. Although my first inclination was it was probably at that station where you buy the tickets. But you can see here they're still checking into this, and you know, need to clear the area before they deem it safe. So we don't actually know. I don't even really know what it looked like, what the size of it was, what exactly it was, whether a piece of luggage or a box. Who knows? A backpack. We just don't know. So they're looking into this. Obviously, something they can't take lightly. Nothing like this is now in this day and age. It can't be, unfortunately, because these things are serious, and we just don't know what's going on. So this is kind of scary. If you guys often go to BWI or know the area, let us know. Let us know where you're watching from, and if you are watching, what you think about this, because especially if you're from this area, you probably utilize, you know, that station, that airport quite frequently. Looks like Chopper is backing up on us here. Not sure if we have this again any longer, or maybe they're turning around in a different direction, but we'll keep an eye on that and closely monitor what's going on there. Might be losing this, actually.
Yeah, it's
unfortunately.
It seems like we're losing it, but
all right. Well, yeah, guys. So that's what we got right now. We'll bring you any updates as we have it. We're going to keep updating our web story. If you are on Facebook or our website as well, check us out, and we will keep updating that once we get the all clear. Hopefully that will happen. We'll get that updated on that story. But meanwhile, guys, the G20 is kicking off. Check it out. All starting up here. Let's get a little sound on this. Countries coming together. We just saw President Trump. He's in there somewhere. You can see him like third row back there. All starting up today in Germany. Check it out. right, guys, if you're back with us in the newsroom, it's Molly and intern Cam here on the digital newsroom checking in with you guys. Thanks for watching on YouTube. It's another Friday, July 7th.
Another Friday, cruising through it.
Just another Friday.
Cruising
And we're keeping an eye on what's happening in the world. Of course, the G20 is starting up today. President Trump met with Vladimir Putin earlier this morning. We cut into our morning show to show that little moment. Handshake, big photo op, lots of shuddering of the camera.
Lots of shuddering.
So loud that we couldn't even hear what they were saying. And he said he looked forward to that meeting with Putin and with the other world leaders, which is the tweet that we just brought to you on your screen. But we sort of watch and wait what comes out of this. Of course, people are still protesting this summit. Lots of anti-Trump protesters, anti-trade capitalists, all these different people. Thousands were expected, and the police were prepared to, be there to defend and stop some of these protesters. And it got a little violent yesterday. We were watching some of that in studio, and still keeping an eye on that feed as well as this continues on today. But we're going to see what else is going on. We're just getting a little buzz in our box about protests going down again, so we're going to flash it over there again to see if anything new is riling up in Germany. But that's pretty much the talk of the day. That's what's going on this Friday. Other than that, I guess we're going into another hot weekend here in D.C.
Another hot one. It's supposed to be really, really nice this weekend.
That's what I heard. I hope not too
humid. I heard something like 89 maybe tomorrow, but then like 85. Perfectly sunny on Sunday. So, I mean, it's
I'm into it.
Probably a little bit humid. I mean, it's DC. It's always humid, but
yeah,
I will be spending a lot of Sunday outside. I hope.
Yeah, good call. I hope so too. I need to get back to a Nats game. Haven't been to one in a little bit. All right, guys. So we'll keep an eye on this protest if that video comes down to us, and also some interesting stuff from NASA coming to you at 1:30. We'll have sort of an update with NASA from NASA TV, and that's all we really got going on. So we're going to wait for that video and be right back with you guys. Thanks for watching, and as always, click subscribe if you like our channel, and chat with us in the box. We're going to be here on weekdays at 11 a.m., and we usually go through the week through the afternoon with all the live and breaking news as much as we have it. So we watch our sources and keep you up to date with what is breaking across the world, across the country, really. So that's that. We'll be right back, guys. Hey guys, we're back in the newsroom. If you're watching, if you were joining us earlier for that video, the aerial footage of the possible suspicious package they were investigating at BWI Airport, we're just receiving word, official word from Amtrak. All is clear. Police have cleared the temporary track closure at BWI, and Amtrak service has resumed between Baltimore and Washington. So that's a good sign.
Yeah, people can get back to their, kind of normal routines, and hopefully not too many people's flights and travel arrangements were messed up by this issue. I mean, obviously, better safe than sorry.
Right.
But it's just
Definitely.
Unfortunate.
Definitely. And police are saying the way they worded it is that they concluded that it was a suspicious item along the tracks. So I guess it was true that it was kind of involved on the actual tracks or near the tracks at the airport. So that has been restored. Residual delays are expected, which is kind of unfortunate for some of those customers, but they thank everybody for their patience, of course, as they investigated that. So that is clear. And we're going to go back now over to NASA. Let's get some updates on NASA stuff. They have some cool stuff coming down on NASA TV on what they're working on. Always some interesting stuff coming out of NASA. So let's go over there.
Stringing together a network of sites and merging that data, we'll be able to make a movie 90 minutes long showing the corona.
So you guys are making a film kind of like Orson Welles with Citizen Kane. You're Citizen Kate.
Rosebud, Missouri is actually a town that's in the path of totality. So in the park in Rosebud, Missouri at around noon, people will see the corona for about 2.5 minutes. It's an opportunity to name the program and have several different twists that work really well.
Is your movie going to be in black and white? Because I love black and white.
Yes, it will be in black and white. We have monochrome cameras.
Now, how are you going to get these observations all along the path of totality?
Right. It's going to be a challenge. Certainly, we don't have enough solar physicists in the country to man these locations with scientists. So we're reaching out to volunteers, people who do amateur astronomy as a hobby, or people in school who like astronomy, or teachers, with the added bonus that the idea is we'll give them the telescope and the equipment after the eclipse. So the eclipse is something that they'll participate in. It's cutting edge research. And then afterwards, they can take the telescope home and continue with astronomy research at night.
Now, are you obligating them to provide data for the rest of their lives? If you give them a telescope, then they've got to report into you, or is this really just one of those inspirational things?
You know, speaking with the people here at the meeting, you understand that they're just driven. They're motivated. This is their passion to look at the skies. And so I'm not really going to have to, encourage them or make them sign a contract. These are people who are going to go out and use the telescope at night just because they love to do it. So I think this is the best way to deal with the resources of the telescope after the eclipse.
Now, would this only apply to amateur scientists that are in the path, or would anybody be available if they could travel?
Oh, yeah. So we have across the country about 100 or 150 people volunteering who have, hotel reservations and are going to be at the eclipse and just want to be involved in the project to take data. Another benefit is that the data that will be collected will be used for cutting edge science. And those people will be involved in the publications and they'll be cited. Their contributions will be cited properly.
So if I were able to participate in this program and I collected some observations and data and you used it scientifically, would I be able to receive an honorary doctorate in some kind? Because I'm really looking to get into the scientific community.
If I had my own university and could do that, I would certainly give you a degree. But people will be acknowledged in a respectable way in the publications and the research that comes out, yes.
Thinking of this movie that you're going to construct with this data, you have to train these people to actually capture the data well. How do you do that?
Yeah, there are some things that are a little bit complicated. First, setting up the telescope is going to be a little time-consuming. And then we have about an hour's worth of calibration data before the eclipse, where people have to be following, we hope, a pretty simple script to take the calibration data, to turn the data, just from pictures into real science quality data. So we're going to have some training sessions, and right now we're working with 4 student groups at different universities and training them to become the trainers for the 2017 event.
Now, if this is successful, do you anticipate replicating this program and perhaps taking an additional step in, say, 2024?
Yes. The interesting thing about this is it could also be a test case for the 2024 eclipse. That eclipse has a longer duration, which means we can collect more scientific data. And it's also exciting because it involves the entire North American continent. So we can go from Mexico through the United States and Canada. It'll be a real international affair. And we're looking forward to having another project building on what we learned from 2017.
So it's kind of a global citizenship for Citizen Kate in 2024.
Exactly. There are many programs. Astronomers Without Borders is one of those programs that does astronomy around the globe. And you know, a total solar eclipse doesn't care what country it crosses. It's going to cross the Earth. It's a nice way to unite people from different countries and have a shared experience with the sun and the moon.
Matt's project is really interesting. You know, I really can't wait to see the data and the images from the citizen scientists across the country when they put it together to make that film.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, Franklin. If we weren't doing the live show, it would be cool to pick a spot along that path to totality, get one of his telescopes, collect the data for Matt and his team, and then we would be, you know, a part of history.
When are we going to talk about harvesting the sun's power for my egomaniacal purposes?
Man, we're not talking about harvesting the sun. We're here to observe the beauty of the sun during the total solar eclipse.
And get some science out of it.
I'm just trying to get my money's worth out of this mask.
You're watching NASA Edge.
An inside and outside look?
At all things NASA.
Dude, aren't you too short to be coloring?
Really? We gotta break into the short jokes.
He's on 2 apple boxes.
I'm sitting in a chair. Come on now. I mean, what was he, like?
6'1".
What?
You ever seen a 5'4" Kylo Ren? Come on, man.
Well, are there any 5'5" characters in Star Wars that you can think of?
Jawas.
Really? Jawas? Bad call. I'm taller than they are.
All right, guys, checking it back in with you guys in the digital newsroom. We have some other stuff going on right now down in Georgia, or rather outside of Atlanta in Marietta, Georgia. I don't know if you guys have heard about this, but right now, ongoing, there is a sort of a bank robbery hostage situation that is still going on.
Yeah, so on its way to resolution, I want to say. So a suspect entered the Wells Fargo, said he had a bomb on him. And had basically held a bunch of people hostage inside the bomb, or inside the.
Yeah, I was going to cut in really quick. This is the moment that the SWAT team sort of entered that Wells Fargo bank in Marietta when the man claimed he had a bomb.
Yeah.
So now.
And so all the hostages, thankfully, are out. So they're now safe. So now the only people, or the only person, I should say, still inside the bank is the suspect himself. The police are now. And authorities are now working on establishing contact with the man, or with the suspect, I should say, and then hopefully work towards a peaceful resolution from there.
Yeah, unfortunately now we only have this 1-minute video here to show you guys of the moment, like I said, that they run in. There's no ground camera, no live sort of in the moment camera to show you what's happening right now, but sounds like a good update. The hostages are safe or out of the situation, and they're trying to make contact with the guy. Now, we've seen scenarios like this kind of happening in the past couple of weeks. We had a sort of potential, what could have been a standoff situation at a sort of pawn shop or checks cash type place, ended up not being a thing. The guy was, there it goes, the video ends. The guy was actually out of that building, but in this scenario, it sounds like the guy is still inside.
Yeah, still inside, and they're confident of that.
Yeah.
So
They're
just looking for contact, hopefully to get him out. Kind of diffuse the situation, and not, obviously you don't want anything, violent and harmful, destructive to happen.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll kind of monitor this too. We're getting some updates on Twitter and via tweets, right? Is that where you saw it?
Yeah.
That was the update. So unfortunately, no ground camera. But once again, this replay, we'll go back to this video, the moment that they entered this Wells Fargo bank, that you can see somebody running out. It looks like maybe that was one of the hostages that got out. Not sure who that lady in the pink was, but the team there responding to the claims here that the man inside the Wells Fargo bank in Marietta, Georgia, claimed to have a bomb. So everyone besides the suspect is out of the bank at this time. So that was possibly one of the women that was caught in there, which is quite scary to look at.
Yeah, I mean, obviously super thankful that all the hostages could get out. That's when you really hate to see things, is when innocent civilians just at the bank, you know, not doing anything, get caught up in a situation like this.
Exactly. Well, guys, there you go. We are back here, and we want to know what's going on with you guys, where you're watching from, and what you're thinking on this Friday. Happy Friday, by the way. July 7th, going into the weekend on this weirdly short week because of the holiday. But we've had some good fun with it. We had an interesting week, and Cam is here on a Friday, which is cool. How does that feel?
Yeah, I got Tuesday off, so still just a 4-day week.
Yeah.
Feels pretty normal, but
right, for holiday.
Obviously, I'm excited for the weekend. Really excited for this weekend.
Good stuff. Doing any travel again or no?
Not travel, but people are actually coming to me.
Oh, good.
Some people from Duke are coming up for the weekend, so
good stuff.
Be hanging out.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm hoping to enjoy that weather. Also, looks like things are starting up again at the G20. We just saw Justin Trudeau and President Trump and some others enter this amphitheater. Check it out. Things are kicking off in Germany. Hey guys, so some of you are joining on the chat and wondering what is up with the standoff at the Marietta, Georgia bank. Now, unfortunately, we don't have a live feed of what's going on there, but I do have some updates from their web story, actually, which you guys can also find if you need to. But Jehovah and Sean, you're asking about what's up. A man claimed to have a bomb at this Wells Fargo bank in Cobb County in Georgia. Police and officials say that all the employees have gotten out of the bank after a successful operation. Apparently, the man inside told officials very straightforwardly that he was an Iraqi war veteran and was having financial trouble. So he was able to communicate with police, and he was very straightforward. They said they made negotiations with him, had conversations with him, and they spent a long time on the phone with him. They're letting people know this is an active situation, but not a hostage situation. Apparently, employees and the public is not at risk. The people did get out. And like I said, they've been talking with the suspect inside the bank. So they believe that there's no one considered a hostage right now. No one has been injured inside or outside of the bank, according to authorities. And officials are telling our sister station in Atlanta that employees are not going to be harmed in the situation. Now, SWAT team, bomb squad, canines, they all responded to the scene. And it happened at about 9:30 a.m. on Friday. So that's what we know about that, guys, and we'll be looking for more information if we get it down through our sources on this situation. Unfortunately, that is what we have from Atlanta. So they are calling it not a drill, but also not a hostage situation anymore, which is a good thing.
Yeah, I mean,
so they were able to get the suspect.
You want to get all the innocents out of there for sure.
Yeah, unfortunately, seeing some of your chats, guys, we don't actually have a feed right now that we can use. We're going to be looking for that, but unfortunately, not right now. Just that quick video of the SWAT team entering the bank for now. So for now, we're going to leave you with that information, guys, and we'll bring updates if we have them to you about that domestic situation here in Atlanta. Now back over to the G20, which is starting up in Germany. All right, guys, we are back in the newsroom. If you're joining us, some of you are wondering about the Atlanta standoff, the standoff at the Wells Fargo Bank in Marietta, Georgia. We have a little bit of an update coming down now live. Finally, we did get this feed from Atlanta. We found it. Police are updating on this standoff. Let's check it out.
Around the bank that we think is sufficient standoff.
And clarify how many staff members were taken out.
I don't know the exact number. It was several, but he kept 2 inside the bank with him.
Okay, so there were 2 that you all had to get out.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
How did you get them out?
Sir, we believed that there was a window of opportunity to get them out, and we went up trying to facilitate that, and that's when contact was made.
How did that happen?
It's just what I said. We felt that there was a window of opportunity to get the 2 hostages out, and certainly we took that opportunity based on the significance and the danger that we believe they were in.
Do you know if the suspect had any sort of relationship to the bank at all, or did he just randomly choose that location?
We don't know that at this time.
There were a lot of people around. Urgency. I mean, talk about the urgency with which you all responded to this, and how you established the priorities and go about attacking it.
Well, certainly there was urgency. Anytime you have a person walk into a public building where you have citizens present and announce that they have a quantity of explosives and they're prepared to use those explosives, that does cause emergency. And certainly our priority is to first ensure the safety of all citizens. And certainly when we found that 2 bank employees were in there, that was our #1 priority, was to bring this to a safe resolution and make sure that those 2 bank employees were safe. Certainly we would have preferred that this end with the 2 bank employees and the suspect coming out, but unfortunately it looks like that is not what happened. We will come back and give you an update later. I appreciate you guys standing out here in the heat and obviously the rain here in a few minutes. Thank you.
Well, one last question. Was the officer involved in the shooting, was that one of your officers?
Wow, so it looks like that's all we have there. We jumped in as soon as we could when we got this feed, providing updates of this Wells Fargo Bank standoff in Marietta, Georgia. We're reading from the Twitter of these accounts here, or let's listen in again.
At this moment, because it is an ongoing investigation, but we'll come back and do another briefing here. Okay?
In an hour. So it sounds like more briefings are to be had. We're hearing now the police say possibly a member of the tactical team there with police may have been responsible for the suspect's death in this situation, and it sounds like he did take a few hostage. We were able to get out, but there were a couple that were in there towards the end, as they were saying.
Yeah, I mean, and obviously just thankful that they're okay.
Yeah, definitely. But again, breaking, the suspect in this situation is now dead, according to police. This is in Marietta, Georgia, a Wells Fargo bank. And unfortunately, we didn't have a live ground shot, just some still pictures to bring you. Authorities confirmed that he is now deceased there in Cobb County, Georgia. So more updates will be provided, guys. Fox 5 Atlanta, our sister station down there, will have more updates for you guys as well on their web story. But we were reading that he was open about being a former Iraqi war veteran, dealing with some financial issues. So still unknown whether he was taken out by police or what exactly happened, but that's what we're hearing from authorities down there. So that's what we got, guys. We're going to roll it out, guys, with the last of this G20 summit still ongoing over in Europe, in Germany, and we'll come back to our newsroom as well after that.
To look for explosives. A note that was made in that press conference said that tactical team members saw these.
Just a quick word here from the Atlanta station, an update on what they heard at this press conference about the update at the standoff at the Wells Fargo.
Take a look at what we were talking about earlier. So as you can see here, this is the video that we have of that moment where they went into the side of the bank or the back side of the bank, getting, as you can see right there, somebody who was inside, an employee, out of the building. And SWAT team members, you'll see as they exit and they move their way back. We don't know if this particular moment was when the suspect was killed or was deceased, but we now know that the suspect has been killed or is deceased. We're waiting for more official information. In the update, they're dancing around saying officially it was a lot of may have beens and things like that. So we take you back to the live picture of what it looks like at the scene as they search the building for explosives. The note that to keep in mind here, the reason why they might believe there are explosives is because when that operation we just showed you happened, the police say that a tactical team member saw the man wielding a certain amount of explosives, or what they believe to be explosives. So that's what led to where we are at now. So let me get this pulled up for you again so you can hear exactly what the last update was. All right. And we'll keep you here on this live picture. We'll do a picture-in-picture so we can watch the latest while we listen to the latest update. Stay tuned here with Fox 5. We'll have more updates coming soon.
So yeah, guys, that's just a little bit of footage from the Fox 5 live down in Atlanta, just providing an update from police. So we're kind of taking this all from our sister stations here, and you already heard the authorities there say what they did. Still not sure if the suspect is deceased because of police efforts or if he took his own life. We don't know, but we know that situation is resolved. So we'll take you back to a quick snippet of the G20 over in Germany, and then we're going to take it back to the newsroom, guys, and roll out the show for the day. But for now, you're watching Fox 5 Live in D.C. We're in the digital newsroom. Molly and Cam, Washington, D.C., Fox 5 Local News. We're here on weekdays, guys, at 11 a.m. Let's go over now to where all the leaders from the big economic nations are gathered for the G20 summit over in Germany. Check out this picture. Awesome. All right, guys, and with that, you just saw a shot of Angela Merkel there at the Symphony. President Trump, Justin Trudeau, Melania Trump, of course, with the president, all joining and attending this Symphony in Hamburg, Germany, ahead of the G20 summit starting today. So this is what we've been watching for just kind of the end of the show, just kind of get in that mode. We had a lot of stuff that kind of jumped around today, despite it being a little bit slower in today's live news sort of bits. But the hostage situation that is now cleared in Marietta, Georgia, when police did send tactical units into that Wells Fargo bank. All hostages ended up unharmed. The suspect ended up deceased in that situation. We don't have a lot of further details on that, but that will all be coming out shortly if you want to check in. Also, our Fox 5 Atlanta station has that story updated as well. And then as for us, we're rolling into our Friday, kind of keeping an eye on stuff happening abroad. We'll see kind of what becomes of this and what kind of stuff we have over the weekend as for video from the president and his, of course, closed meeting with with Vladimir Putin of Russia, where we were reading that he did press Putin about the Russia the investigation here.
Yep, and Putin denied any interference, and it's been reported that Trump accepted that. So we'll see what happens over the weekend.
Yeah.
The reaction, the fallout. If we get any more explanation, they did meet for about 2.5 hours, which was almost like 2 hours longer than they were even supposed to. So clearly, other things that came out of that meeting were that they agreed to a ceasefire in southern Syria.
Yeah.
The U.S. and Russia did, as well as kind of set the baseline for future interactions between the two leaders.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see especially with that Syria information coming out. So anyway, guys, that is it for a lot of international news this week, and we hope that you enjoyed watching us. Don't forget to click subscribe on our channel and watch us. We are Fox 5 Local News in D.C. We're bringing you Fox 5 Live every weekday at 11 o'clock a.m. And we're going to roll it out because we're D.C. with a picture of the White House back home here in Washington. We'll be back on Monday at 11 a.m. for more stuff and breaking news, anything live that's going on. So we hope you enjoyed it, guys. See ya. Take care. Have a great weekend. We'll see you next week.
See you on Monday.